we are almost ready to begin writing. Remember, we've got an ideas muscle and we've got a words muscle. We've been building up our ideas before we write. The stronger your ideas are, the better your writing will be. So it makes sense to spend a lot of time thinking through all of your ideas before you begin to write. We've kind of walked through the whole letter now. We've thought about your reasons, the counterargument, and how you will end with the call to action. Let's go back now to get some ideas about how you're going to start your letter. Your introduction paragraph, which we'll discuss more soon, it really needs three things. So think these three things through first. You need a hook. You need to get people's attention. In real life, we do things to get people's attention all the time. Move our body, wave at them, call their name, say, hey, what's going on? Make a crazy sound, wear weird clothing, whatever it is, we do something to draw attention. Your first sentence or two of your letter needs to make your audience interested so that they will read the rest of it. Because it would be a total shame to have spent all this time building up your ideas, building up these counterarguments, the solutions, really smart call to action, and then starting this off in a really boring way, and the person throws away your letter without reading any of it. That would suck. So how are you going to start your letter so that it's really interesting and hooks your audience like a fish hook, hooks them in, they're interested to finish this up? A few suggestions. Begin with a statistic. Start with some kind of fact that you can prove. Hey, did you know that 85% of dog owners live longer? Something like that. Some information to get them interested in reading further. It could be an anecdote or a brief story. Hey, did you know that in this town did this and they had all these positive results? Something either factual or story-based or a question. Have you ever thought about how our lives might be different in this household if we had a dog? You need to say something to hook your reader. A fact works well because it will be interesting to them, hopefully. A story might work well because our brains really like stories and we latch onto those. And a question is a really good idea because when our brains are asked a question, our brains try to make an answer. Why do our brains try to create answers to questions when they're asked? Well, your mind might be trying to answer that right now, and that shows the power of opening your letter with a question to really hook your audience in. Depending on who your audience is, you might have to introduce yourself. You may have chosen an audience who doesn't know you, in which case, what are the most important things your audience should know about you so that they have an idea of who has written them this letter? If we're getting letters from strangers, it helps to have some context of who are you, maybe where are you from, and why are you writing this letter? And even if your audience does know you, it's a good idea to highlight some important part about you. If you're, again, trying to convince your parents to get a dog, you might remind them about the things you're already doing in your life that show responsibility, that you might be ready to handle a dog, for example. You're not going into your reasons here. You're not doing the A equals B, B equals C, A equals C thing here. No, I just mean like a sentence to really remind your reader who you are if they know you, or if they don't know you, introduce yourself so they understand who is talking to them in the rest of the letter. And finally, but most importantly, what is your point of view? What is it that you want? Make sure you can say it in one sentence. And often, the shorter the sentence, the better. The more specific the sentence that explains your point of view, the better. Depending on who your audience is and depending on what you're wanting, you need to get really specific. I want a dog is very general. I want a golden retriever puppy is much better and more specific. I want a 13-year-old pit bull makes it clear what it is you want. I want to ban straws from our school cafeteria makes it clear. Saying something very general like, I want our cafeteria to make less garbage is a nice idea, but it's not very specific. The clearer you are on what exactly it is that you want and what your perspective is will help your audience a lot. So think about how you're going to start your letter. How will you hook your audience? How will you introduce yourself? And how will you very clearly state exactly what it is that you want and what it is that you believe?